Welcome to another episode of the Prosperity Playbook. Today we're going to do a little bit of a random topic. We are going to talk about what the fuck is for dinner. And the reason is because of all of the people that I know in the world, this seems to be a problem for literally everyone, unless they have a private chef in their own home. But it's the constant battle. It's like the mark of being an adult is having to figure out forever, for the rest of your life, what is for dinner each night. And for me, I know this is a real struggle, because I feel like my family doesn't actually care. I could make a 12-course fancy meal, or I could make hot dogs, and they would not give any craps about which one it was at all. So I know I'm not the only one.
Definitely.
No, it
not.
definitely
Well,
is my biggest anxiety.
And to be clear, we don't have this fully figured out yet. So full disclosure, if you do have this figured out, please comment below and save the world, and we will all learn from you.
Save my marriage.
Yeah, seriously though. Tell us about the Progressive commercial that you saw the other day.
Oh, it's the new gal that's not Flo, but she's doing the commencement speech at graduation. And she said, the hardest thing you're going to have to do now is think of what is for dinner for the rest of your life.
So true, because it's so relatable. It was actually really interesting. When I was working in food service, I ate at the restaurant every day. And so I didn't really have this problem for a lot of my young adult life.
Interesting.
And
yeah,
then,
let's work at the food bank more often. And
right,
the dinner is
seriously.
there.
Yeah, exactly. But when I stopped working in restaurants, I was like, oh, I actually have to think about this now. And so I feel like I kind of went through the process a lot later than most people do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of the things we've been talking about with my daughter, because she's getting ready to go to college next year, and she really likes to cook. But it's that whole, I keep telling her, I'm like, that's awesome. But the hardest part is trying to figure out what you're going to make and trying to plan a week in advance so that you can actually go to the grocery store or get your groceries delivered or whatever that looks like, so that you have the right amount of groceries, but not excessive amount that you're just wasting everything.
Yeah.
And also so that you're not just like going by Wendy's because you gave up.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
Hell yeah.
Well,
or
you
girl
know,
dinner.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, girl dinner is so real. We were talking about this off air a little bit ago, but I am definitely guilty of having chips and salsa for dinner.
And mine is popcorn and wine. So.
Mine's popcorn and beer, which I did watching the MSU game by myself.
Yeah, there you
Or
go.
late night cereal. I definitely have done that a few times. But something that has really worked for me is I plan 2 dinners a week where I get all of the groceries for 2 full meals with leftovers, so that realistically I have like 4 dinners worth of meals, sometimes 5 depending on how many leftovers I make. But I think something that's important for everyone, regardless of how you want to do your meal planning, is to build in flexibility, because we're all busy humans. There are going to be some nights that if you plan out your meals for all 7 days of the week, I guarantee you're going to be throwing away groceries at the end of the week.
Yeah, I think that's a really important one. For us, we plan out at least 1 or 2 nights to go out to eat, because especially in the summer when my dad is home, my dad loves to go out to eat. That is his love language, is taking people to dinner. And we always say in our family, like, what we do best is eat. So like we are all about it. So at least 2 nights a week, we probably are going to eat out. I need to know that. And then there's probably 1 night a week that I'm going to be too busy to make dinner, and I've got plenty of leftovers. So it's like free for all.
Does Josh cook at all?
He will if I ask him to. So actually what we did for the last couple years that worked pretty well for us is we would get HelloFresh dinners. Mm-hmm. And the thing about that is you are still picking what's for dinner, but you're picking from their menu, and it has pictures, and it tells you exactly what the calorie count and whatever macros you're watching, or like you can make it what you want. And then you order these things, they show up at your door. It seems expensive off the get, but I think when I actually did the math on the fact that I didn't need to get nearly as many groceries, I think it actually ends up cheaper, and it's exactly the portions that you need. Like there's very rarely any that we would throw out. It
Right,
would
there's no waste. Yeah.
Right. We would get a meal for 4 people, and then either we would eat it, or if my dad was there, it would be gone, or there'd be 1 left that was for me to have for lunch the next day, and it worked really well. And then you get like 2 or 3 of them that show up, and then now all you got to do is decide between 3 things, which is pretty easy.
We've done that, and when we get really busy, like whenever I was in volleyball season and literally couldn't make another decision to save my life, we just would get, Factor or Home Chef or HelloFresh. We tried a few different ones, but
We did too.
They can be amazing because you can make the decision each week. If you want to like log in and pick your meals for the week, you can, or you can let it auto choose for you. I do recommend picking them if you have a
too.
service, because sometimes when it picked for us, it was kind of lame.
Yeah, agreed. It's
I
like
would
I feel
have
like
to
they're
pick it.
sending you like the cheapest things
Yes,
possible on
yeah.
their
Probably.
average thing.
Yeah.
So, and it can be as expensive or not. Like there are definitely a lot of upgrades in there. There's a lot of like nicer steaks and things that you will definitely pay
Well,
a lot
that's the
for.
ones I always picked.
Yeah. Well, and something I really liked about it is it taught me new ways to cook, where the recipes are all very straightforward. It like puts all of the seasonings together in one nice seasoning pack for you. You know, you don't have to really think about much of it. But like there were some breaded chicken recipes, and I hadn't breaded chicken before. And, you know, there were just some things like that where I think, especially if you're kind of just starting out, that can be a really good way to dip your toes in and not be completely overwhelmed.
Agreed. And that was so when we would have those, Josh, if he got home and I was like on a call or working still, he would just grab one of those and start. And I loved that because
That's
it was
so nice. I
it
don't
was
get
so
that.
nice. Yeah.
My
He
husband
totally would
works
do
in a
that.
restaurant, so he's like, I have no interest in cooking when I get off work.
And that's fair. That makes sense. Or if I was working on it, he could come in, grab the little card, and know exactly how to jump in and help me. So we actually made dinner together. I would say probably 90% of the time. One of us would start and the other one would just pitch in, or Lexi could come and help my daughter. And so that was the best thing about it, was that it was just boom, it was ready. Most of them are 30 minutes and they're done. So that worked really well for us. The only reason that we kind of went away from it was because we bought a whole bunch of 4-H animals at the sale. And so I currently have 4 pigs, 2 sheep, and a half a beef in my freezer. And I'm like, I should be not buying meat from anywhere right now.
What
I
are
went
some-
to
oh,
the
go ahead, Corey.
co-op yesterday to grab a couple of ingredients. And so the other benefit of getting something like HelloFresh, you aren't grazing at the grocery store and buying extra things that are impromptu purchases.
Well, and I think it's healthier in that regard too, because you're not buying 40 things of chips and candies and cookies and whatever
Oh, yeah,
else.
it's the Oreos for me. I can't walk past Oreos without buying them.
Hell no.
I'm the opposite. I bought a lemon cucumber for $3.99
Who
a
are
pound.
you?
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
I keep saying I want there to be new vegetables. Like I'm tired of all the vegetables.
Yeah.
I can't eat cauliflower anymore. Please invent a new vegetable. And if there's something I need to know, put it in the comments, please.
Well,
And we
kind
are
of
in
a-
Montana,
That's true.
along,
not California.
yeah, right. We have limited grocery options available. But along those lines with grocery shopping, I think that there are some grocery shopping hacks too. So something that I started doing that has completely changed my entire life is just ordering groceries for pickup. It's free. I don't know if it's free everywhere, but it's free here at all of our local stores. And
I
so
didn't know that.
I will just log on to like Albertsons or Smith's or whatever it is and, order all my groceries. And what I really, really like about that is I can be walking through my pantry and seeing if I actually need things. Whereas I'm so guilty of walking through the grocery store and being like, oh, I think I need this. And then
Yeah.
I have 5 things of barbecue sauce in the pantry for no reason.
Duke's mayonnaise.
Yes. And you can add all of their coupons directly to your cart. And so I end up saving way more money because basically if something has a coupon, it automatically pops up as soon
Yeah.
as you add it
I
to
know
your
how
cart.
to do that at Albertsons, but I didn't know it was free to pick it up.
Yeah. And I also think a lot of people order via Instacart, which there is a fee for that, but absolutely still worth it in my mind. If it's going to take all of the stress and time off of going through the grocery store, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I should be sponsored by Instacart. I'm not, but I should be. If Instacart is listening, you owe me a lot of money because I have given you a lot of new subscribers because I really am a huge fan of it. We actually started doing it during COVID when you just weren't supposed to go to the grocery store. So we started ordering groceries and I was like, I have been missing out. My
Where has this
whole
been my whole
Like,
life?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I had a friend in Billings and she used to tell me that she used to Instacart her groceries. And I was like, you are so freaking lazy. Like, what are you even doing? And now I'm like, oh.
So efficient.
I
Yes.
so get it. Because like you said, I walk through my house, I look in the pantry, I look in the fridge, I know if we're out of coffee creamer and rice and sliced cheese or whatever it is, and I'm not ordering extra stuff. And I'm not really like looking at the end of the aisle at Costco to see what $100 thing I must have
Leggings.
now. Right. So not that Instacart doesn't suggest things for you because it definitely does. But if you do look in the app, there it will flat tell you. You can look at each store and it will either tell you in-store prices or it will tell you like how much the markup is. So like Costco, I think is a 10% markup, but Smith's is in-store prices. So you can decide what's worth it to you and you can choose where to shop. Or like if you're looking for a really specific ingredient, you can search in your Instacart without selecting a store and it will show you what store in town has it. Or like you can go ground beef and put that in the Instacart search bar and it will pop up all the stores and their prices for ground beef. So like when I used to make dog food for my dogs, I would search for who had the best ground beef prices in town
Yeah.
by doing it that way. So I do think that there are cost-effective ways you can use it. But yes, there's a membership for Instacart. I don't think it's very expensive. And then you do tip your person. It's optional, but I'm going to tell you it's not optional.
Yeah,
I tip
I agree.
all of my Instacart drivers 20%. Granted, I don't live in town. And I definitely make it worth their while every time. And if I know I have a really heavy order or something, like I'll tip extra because I know it. Like, here's the thing, guys. What's my time worth versus paying an Instacart driver to go? Like, I don't have to drive to Costco. I don't have to walk through the store, and I don't have to drive back home and then go to the grocery store somewhere there in between too. It's a huge time saver for me. I don't even know where shit is in the grocery store anymore. Like I went in there the other day and I was like, where am I? I don't know where
They
things
move
are.
stuff
They
regularly.
do. I don't know where anything is.
Well, I think we should do another episode sometime too. Is Costco an addiction?
Absolutely. The answer is yes.
Or the hacks for how you like get the best deals at Costco.
Yeah.
Like, do you know that you should always book your rental cars at Costco?
Yes, I do. And you should always buy your TV right around Super Bowl.
People always joke about the Target sign that it like hypnotizes you, and I'm like, for me, it's Costco.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I don't even like Target. Sorry, Target. I'm not
I
sponsored
have a
by
lot
you.
of Costco clothes.
But going back to the Instacart thing too, I think for me, even just doing the grocery pickup, so grocery shopping is like my arch nemesis chore. You know, we all have the one chore that we despise. That is the chore that I despise.
Empty in the dishwasher.
Yeah. So I will empty your dishwasher if you go grocery shopping.
I
for
will.
me. But what I like about it is now I get to go to our local butcher shop to get a really nice steak or bacon or something. Like I can do very intentional grocery shopping now, where I'll order all of our pantry staples and our fridge restocks and pick it up, and then I'll swing by Whole Foods and go take a stroll through their fresh section and pick out our produce and meat, you know, where I can still get the good stuff that I want. And, you know, like the
That's smart.
avocado that I want to buy at the store might look very different than the avocado that you want to buy at the store. So
Yeah.
that is a downside, but I think, you know, if I don't have to go do the $300 grocery trip and I can just go buy a couple things, sign me up.
Well, I think that is a good point to bring up because I definitely have had some not great Instacart drivers that like brought me zucchini instead of cucumbers or brought me
no.
green beans that were already moldy. But I will tell you that the customer service at Instacart is phenomenal because you just click a button and you show a picture of what you got. They just instantly refund it to you.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't
It's-
even have to do the picture because we do it for my mom in a different state, and she'll tell me that they bought her something that was already out of date. So I tell her.
Yeah, and they
we
just
need to
immediately
tell 'em.
refund it.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're really good about it. And you can be specific about it. And, you know, some of them are better than others. I have some that will like watch for my orders and you can kind of favorite them and they will pick mine up right away. And they just know. They automatically know, like, these are the things Renee buys at Costco. I even had a guy one time, he's like, hey, those Annie's cheesy poofs that you like are back in stock. Should I grab some for you? And I was like,
Cheesy
okay,
poofs.
okay, I've got an issue. Like, I love you, and yes.
Well, those are a little healthier than Cheetos.
If you're a person that does really like grocery shopping, but you still want to maybe make it a little bit faster and more convenient, ChatGPT for your grocery list is freaking awesome. I've used it a couple different ways. One way is I have a couple of food blogs that I really like, and I will just like copy the link for the recipe and say, this is the recipe that I'm making. I'm making it for 6 people. Make me a grocery list. And it will. Or maybe I already have my grocery list. I'll type it in and say, organize this by aisle in the grocery store, and it will, you know, give it to you in sections so that I don't have to go back and forth between aisles like I do every time
Oh,
I go
that's
grocery
me.
shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that actually last week. I went to the grocery store because I forgot to order, and then I needed it that day. And so I had ChatGPT make me a grocery list, and it was the most painless experience. It was awesome.
That is nice. I'd like to go to the grocery store, so I use that checklist on your phone. And so you can type it in there, you can make it into sections, and then you click the little button when you find it so
In your
that you
notes.
know what you still need to get next time.
Yeah. I love that.
And I do
I
that
am
with
a
my
checklist person.
Me too. And I'll do that with my Instacart. Like I just build a list as I run out of things. So
Yeah.
my Costco Instacart and my Smith's Instacart right now have things in them. Even though I'm not ordering anything for a couple days yet, I'm still like, hey, here are the things that I know I'm going to need. And then it's so easy when I just am like, okay, there's enough things in the cart and I just hit send and it makes it easier. But I do feel like that's something that is worth exploring if you have not tried it before, because it is a very convenient situation, and it's very time saving. And again, I do think that you end up not spending so much extra stuff on it.
One
Yeah.
other hack that I just thought of this past week, I'm not a huge Amazon fan, but I noticed that I'm always having to go shop for the Sensodyne toothpaste because we both have the sensitive gums. And it's always on sale somewhere, but I don't want to go find it. So I'm just buying the 3-pack on Amazon now, and it comes every 3 months.
Put it on auto ship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
do
you get
a
the better
discount for
price.
that. Yeah, that is an option as well. Well, let's get back to talking about what is for dinner instead of buying our groceries for dinner. So, one of the things that I have done, I like Pinterest. I like to just like scroll, kind of doom scroll Pinterest without any doom, because there's not a lot of doom on Pinterest, which I
Joy
like.
scroll Pinterest.
Happy scroll.
If you're not ever hungry, that's a good thing to do to find your hunger level, because there's all the foods. But of course, if you've done Pinterest, you know that there's lots of different boards and you can build things into specific. But I started building a meals this week board, and it's a private board. You can set it so that nobody else can see what you're actually eating for dinner if you don't want them to see. But then I would just drag recipes into that, and that's like, here are the things that I'm going to make right now, like immediate situations. And so then when I get ready to go order my Instacart, I just go and like, what did I put in my meals this week that I need to make soon? So that was one way that I kind of kept track, because otherwise my Pinterest boards are huge.
Yeah.
and
I
a lot of control.
have a food Pinterest board that probably has 10,000 posts in it. So I like the idea of having the one for this week so that you can just drag and drop and there's maybe 3 in there instead of 10,000.
Yeah. You told me when we were talking offline one time about doing like a theme week. Tell me about that, Britt.
Something that I really enjoy is basically changing it up week to week, because I think it's really easy to just, we all kind of have 10 recipes that are in our wheelhouse and we make those same 10 recipes on repeat. And then, yeah, it might be easier to cook, but eating gets really boring. And so we started doing theme weeks where we'll pick a country, or maybe we're like, this is going to be our Mexi week. And so we'll make enchiladas and tacos or, something like that. But sometimes our theme weeks are also based around a specific ingredient. Like we had tahini that was in our fridge that was getting ready to expire. And we were like, let's find a couple recipes that have tahini.
That's so
So
smart.
we had kind of an Indian food week, but it's really fun to give yourself something specific to focus on every once in a while, because like we have tried recipes that we never would have had before that have become some of our favorite recipes because of
One
that.
of my colleagues just used tahini to make chocolate.
Yum.
And it was like a Greek chocolate with pistachios crumbled on
That
top.
sounds amazing.
Yum.
It looked amazing.
But those are the kind of things that like I always want to try the new stuff, and I get in my same ruts, and my family would be happy for me to cook like enchiladas and tacos and lasagna like every meal,
Mine
and
too,
burgers.
but not
you
me.
know. And I always want to try the new and exciting things, but like I want like spicy and Asian and all the things.
Mediterranean's my favorite.
Sure. Yeah. Like, there's not much I don't eat. Raw mushrooms. I hate raw mushrooms. Other than that, I'm pretty much down. So my family, not so much. But so I do think that it is fun to really narrow it down, because if you just think about like, what am I going to make for dinner? It is literally endless recipes. And so I love that you're narrowing it down to a theme. Or one of the things I'll do, I don't know if anybody watches the show Chopped on Food Network,
Oh, yeah.
but they like give you a basket of ingredients and you have to figure out what you're going to make out of those things. So I kind of do that at home sometimes, where I'm like, okay, I got 4 pigs in my freezer, so I got pork chops, and let me open the fridge and see, okay, I got broccoli. What can I make with
ChatGPT is good for that too.
Exactly. Yeah. I think I used to do that with Pinterest, but I think ChatGPT now you can just be like, okay, I got pork chops
This is
and
what's in
broccoli.
my fridge. Yeah.
Yeah. And, it will tell
it goes
you.
outside of the box that you get stuck in Pinterest.
Yeah. And I think it's sometimes it's as simple as adding some fresh herbs. Like I am
layers.
obsessed with fresh herbs, and I think it takes any dish kind of just to that next level. Or like if you've got a weird spice in your cabinet that you're like, is this shit expired?
Marjoram.
Marjoram.
What do you use
I can
marjoram
guarantee you
for?
I have marjoram, but I have never used it.
Yep. Along those lines, something that I did that I don't recommend is finding a bunch of really unique recipes that call for like a
Unique
very
ingredients.
specific seasoning or sauce or whatever it is. If you can't make that seasoning or sauce with things that you already have, I recommend limiting those, where maybe you can do one of those a couple times a month or something, and that's fine, but it can get really expensive really fast. Because I remember I used to do these around the world nights with my friends, where once a month we would pick a country and everybody would bring a drink or an appetizer or a side or
Oh my
a
God, that's
meal from
amazing.
that country. It was so fun.
We should do that.
We
Yeah,
should
I'm here for
absolutely
it.
do that. Yeah, I recommend it very highly. It was a really good way to learn about the world. And anyways,
Yeah, and we'll combine it with game night.
yes, perfect.
This is happening.
You guys should see Renee's game closet. She has every game that's ever been made, I think. But anyways, when we were shopping for those, each of our households was shopping individually. And so each of us would get a seasoning that we probably have never touched since then. Even though it was delicious, that's not the food that we're eating every day.
Yeah.
So even though there's a lot of really great recipes on food blogs and things that call for something specific, I would recommend like Googling, substitutions for this seasoning that I can make with what I
Or
already
what
have.
else you can make with za'atar.
Yes, exactly. Because it
Yeah.
can get really expensive really quickly.
Totally. And I think that the theme night is a good thing, but it could also be like crock pot recipes
Yes.
or sheet pan recipes or something like that. Anything to narrow your search down so that it's literally not unlimited. And I've been invited to a couple of these. They're called sliced pepper parties. I've never really gone because I am not a huge crock pot person. I'm in fact a person that can burn shit in a crock pot. So I have not ever gone, but basically the premise behind it is you show up and everybody preps all the stuff and you have 20 meals worth that you go in your freezer. Well, when I put things in my freezer, they go there to die typically. So this isn't my jam, but I do feel like this is something you could do without whatever. I think this is an MLM type of a thing that you go and do these, but you could do that with your friends and be like, okay, what is your favorite one crock pot recipe? Kind of like a cookie exchange that you would do at Christmas. And so everybody could bring ingredients for one thing. Everybody could all prep together. You could just do a couple. I think if you do 20, that's too much for me. But like if you were to get together and prep 2 weeks worth of meals with your friends, like that would make me want a meal prep.
I
Two
love that
different
idea.
things that I thought of. My dream would be to make a whole bunch of meals, and you have a glass freezer, and you can see them all labeled and stacked in there. And you could probably put them in like chicken or beef or lamb or whatever. And then the other idea I got from Michelle with BPW, the one that we gave the grant to, and she started this business, and I hired her as a consultant last year. And she told me to go in my spice rack with all those random spices and Google what they are, like you said, and then come up with my own blends of things. Like
Oh,
you
wow.
might mix lemon salt with the za'atar or something. I forget what the other one is that's like that. And create these little blends and then what that would go with. And then you would defrost chicken or buy chicken and make different things with that chicken and all the different spices, and then freeze portions so that you have it later.
I love that. I definitely think that freezing anything for the future in a lot of cases is such a great hack, where we made a giant pot of stew, kind of like a thick soup last week, and ended up just freezing like 3 extra portions of it. So now on those nights that we're being lazy, instead of having chips and salsa for dinner, I can have a nice home cooked meal still that's packed full of vegetables that I don't have to cook that night. So that's definitely a great way to set your future self up for success.
Yeah, and I think just labeling that is important. Say what it is, put the date on it, and so that like if you dig in the bottom of your freezer and like, oh shit, this is from 2012, that's not going to work for me tonight.
I don't have a freezer that big.
Not that that's
Mine's
ever
like-
happened to me.
I really like making sheet pan recipes too, where you basically just put everything on one sheet and it goes in the oven and your dinner's ready. So you've got maybe like the seasoned chicken thighs and a couple of fresh veggies that you're roasting. And sometimes I'll cook either like a pastaroni or quinoa or something to go on the side of those. But it's so simple because really all the prep work is just chopping up whatever vegetables you want and then you can throw it in the oven. So that's another dinner that I really like to make on nights that I don't have very much time. And it's really easy to completely change that meal by just changing a couple of the ingredients where, you know, it's the exact same thing, but you swap out maybe one veggie and the meat and it's a totally different meal.
Or a different cheese.
Exactly.
Have you tried any of the Fisher spices that they put together in Bozeman and sell at Town and Country? So they have different salts. I have maybe 5 different salts, lemon, lime, something spicy, something smoky, and then they've got a vanilla bean one, which you can use on steak to make it more umami, or
Wait, did you just say vanilla bean on steak?
vanilla bean salt.
I don't know if I can get behind this.
It doesn't taste like vanilla.
The farm girl in me is dying right now.
No, it just gives it this different richness
Okay,
to the steak. But you can also use it in baking if
Interesting.
it calls for salt.
Love
I
it.
have gone to Olivelli and done that where I get a couple of olive oils and a couple of salts that are just something wild and crazy that are fun to cook with.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just going to suggest that, like, Court was talking about making your own spice blends. To me, I started looking out the window when she said that because that is not going to happen for me. So for me, it's like, go to Olivelli. Shout out to Brie Thompson. She's awesome. She's built this amazing business. Go get a blend there, or even just a fancy vinegar or olive oil or something like that. And it can be those simple things. And by the way, she's got like cooking classes and all that stuff. Like, you want a new recipe? Those kind of shops, those specialty shops will also hook you up and say, yeah, build a recipe around one thing. So pick an ingredient and run with it. But I also think sometimes we overcomplicate things. And so for me, it's like, and I think that was one of the things that doing HelloFresh or Green Chef taught me was, it's a meat and a veggie and a starch. Like, it's fairly simple. Like, pick whatever meat's convenient or on sale or you haven't had in a while. Add a veggie that you're not sick of. And then if you want a starch in there, then it could, but just try to think about what's different. So for me, it's like, okay, rice or pasta or potatoes, but can you do quinoa? Can you make it couscous instead of regular pasta? Can you do a sweet potato? Like, can you make your potatoes a different way? There are 4 billion ways to make potatoes. So like, just
Hash style.
yeah, you can just shift one ingredient in there a little bit and completely change it to something that feels really new and not overthink it. Like, I literally used to spend my Sundays, I'd get up Sunday morning, I'd start on Pinterest, I'd pick the whole thing, and I'd Instacart the groceries, and I'd start meal prepping and everything for the week. And like, that's great when it works, but hell, lake season's in the summer. I ain't doing that on Sundays. So then it gets
Salmon
hard.
is super easy.
Yes.
So I got that yesterday at the co-op, and I have something that just, I'll come up with ideas. And so, you know, those chili pistachios, the
Yeah.
spicy ones, I love those. And I had a bag of chili lime that we don't like to eat as a snack so much, but I wanted to use them and not throw them away. So I crushed those up instead and put them on top of the salmon with some onions.
Ooh, yum.
And just throw it in
That
the
sounds
that
amazing.
was smart. That sounds awesome.
it was delicious.
I just went through the Winco aisles where, you know, it's just like the big bulk containers that you serve yourself. And we got way too many kinds of seasoned nuts.
Well, there you go. There's a new way to use it. And I made little red potatoes with gorgonzola that needed to get used, and then crushed up pecans on top and a little bit of green onion.
You're
at
making
the
me
end.
hungry.
I
It was
know.
Good.
Yum.
That does sound really good.
I think a couple different ways that you can kind of share the load too. One of them is if you have roommates or if you have a family that you're sharing meals with, have each person pick one meal for the week so that you aren't carrying the full burden yourself. I have way too many friends that they just fully carry that load for their whole family, and they have teenage kids, and I'm like, give them a job, make them pick a meal.
Yeah, full disclosure here, I had a full-on meltdown on my family a couple weeks ago about this, and I was like, I am so damn tired of picking what's for dinner. I don't care. I'm done. Y'all need to pick it. And I was like, everybody needs to pick one night, and they can just say what it is. I don't even care if I cook it. I just don't want to choose. And they all kind of like looked at me like she has officially lost it.
Yeah.
But I had. I mean,
You did not lose it. You were like,
45
guys.
years worth of figuring
Yes.
out dinner. You know, I was done and I wanted some help. And So my husband's like, okay, well, I want lamb chops and duck fat potatoes and Caesar salad. And I was like, great, done. I make that. And like, we had an amazing meal. And I was happy to make it because I didn't have to figure out what the hell to
Yes.
make.
Yep.
That is the hardest part. I don't know why it has to be so hard.
Because
But
it's
I said the same
unlimited.
thing last night. I said, do you want the salmon with tzatziki or the pistachios? All you have to do is pick one.
I started a group chat with a bunch of my friends where we just share recipes. When we cook something that's really delicious, we'll just copy and paste wherever the link was from and send it in the group chat.
I would like to be added to the
Yeah,
said group
please.
chat.
It's one of my favorite things that I've ever done because the recipes are tried and true. It's not just, we all find recipes online, but you never know if it's good until after you cook it. So we've started sharing them with each other, and it's freaking awesome because when I'm not feeling inspired, I just go into the group chat and pick one and call it a day.
I do have a tried and true Pinterest board. So if you're ever super bored, find Renee Gogler's tried and true Pinterest board.
I will look at yours.
It's got
too.
all the things on there that I have actually made that I actually like. So I think that's a good tip. Or you were also saying that you will look for like the world's greatest chili.
That's something that Forrest started doing, and I thought it was funny, and I made fun of him, and then I tried it and realized he was onto something. But
Yeah.
instead of just typing in like chili recipe, type in, best of all time award-winning chili recipe, and I promise you will get a great recipe. But on that note, always look at the reviews.
Yes.
And the ingredients. See if you want to eat what's in that chili.
Yeah, very true. Very true. But I think a lot of times, something, it might look great on paper, but either it has no reviews or it doesn't have very good reviews. But I'm always looking for the recipe that has like over 500 5-star reviews. That's the recipe I want to make.
No, I agree with you completely. I'm a big reviews person. That's how I find everything, including recipes. So, and like you said, the ingredients matter too. Like if you start digging into ingredients and they're like way too simple, you're like, this ain't it. Or they're way too fancy
Or
and
it's
you're
the
like, I
one
don't have
thing
that
you
shit.
hate.
Yeah. Or it's got raw mushrooms and you're just like, nope, that's out.
Yeah. Or you substitute something. So recipes are just suggestions to
Yeah,
me.
agreed.
And I always doctor them up some different way. It drives one of my friends crazy. Why do you not ever follow the recipe? And I said, because it sounds like it'd be so much better if I did this instead.
Oh,
That's
totally.
just a sign that you're a really good cook. I feel like a lot of times I don't even know what doctoring up a recipe looks like. I just make it as is, and I'm like, sweet.
It's like vanilla bean salt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I am not doctoring anything up with vanilla beans.
I do love microgreens. I feel like you
yes.
can take a dish, and if you throw a handful of microgreens on it, it's
An
elite.
avocado.
Yeah.
Well, Michelin star.
Yes.
Instant.
Yes, exactly.
Or you create a sauce and you do that little zhuzh on the plate and then put the stuff on it.
You
It's
know
like
what?
the
That's a good point.
Salt Bay.
The sauce, I think, is the make or break on a dish.
Yeah.
Seasoning and sauce. Like when people talk about restaurant food being good, it's because most home cooks substantially underseason their food. Restaurant food is good because it has a shit pile of salt and it probably has a good sauce. So if nothing else, and you have a good go-to recipe that works for your family and you just want to shake it up a tiny bit, then think about sauces. And literally, again, ChatGPT. You could be like, what is a good sauce for a pork chop? Or or look at Pinterest. And all of a sudden you throw a new sauce on an existing thing and you've got a whole new dish.
I really
Another-
like going into the seasoning aisle, and they have all of those like pre-made sauce
Yeah.
packets that you just have to mix with like butter and water a lot of the time. And sometimes I'll just grab like 10 random packets and throw them in
Totally.
my cabinet.
Or the
and-
mashed potatoes.
Totally. Yeah. Cause it's just, why not?
One other hack I just remembered that I've done is when I travel to a city that has great restaurants like Seattle or Nashville, and I'll save them in my Google map, and then you can go to the menu that they have
Yes.
and get ideas for things to make.
My favorite thing is looking at menus. Like I absolutely love looking at a new menu and just nerding out on it because for that reason, like it gives me ideas on what to do at home. So that's a great hack. And so, yeah, if you're trying to look for ideas, think about what your favorite places are and we'll kind of round this out. But I think the moral of the story is 1, don't overthink it. 2, don't be afraid to be creative. 3, don't be afraid to pay for help, such as HelloFresh or grocery delivery or whatever that looks like. And just don't torture yourself. Above and beyond, that is the answer, is know that we are all in the same damn boat. We all hate this problem. And again, if you have it figured out, please comment below or email us directly because we want to be your best friend and we want to help you help the entire world. So if this is helpful for you, please like, comment, subscribe. Our whole purpose here is to kind of just share the knowledge that we have, build a community of people that have similar issues. And I don't even know if I want to say issues, but just like things that we want to focus on in our lives. So not that issues are bad.
I have one last question for you girls. What the fuck is for dinner tonight?
You know, I told my husband it was his day.
Yeah,
So we'll
I
see
love
what
to hear
happens
that.
with that.
Awesome.
I love that. You know, I don't know for sure. I don't think my daughter will be back from her golf tournament. So I'm thinking it will be date night and we will probably just go to a restaurant.
I love that.
Across the street.
I'm making a big bulk recipe of coconut chicken curry that we're gonna
Ooh.
freeze some
Love curry.
leftovers of. I do too.
That sounds amazing. My
Yeah.
husband would be like, I don't like curry. So
I'll make you some curry.
I'm here for that. Actually, we should plan a restaurant night with us and go
Yes.
more exploring.
Yes.
So do stay tuned. If you don't follow us on Instagram, please do. It's Renee Gogler Mortgage, and then we've got your insurance agent Britt, and
Courtney King, Montana Real Estate.
there you go. And we have been doing some exploring around our own city and trying out some new places. So please do follow us on Instagram and come along with us for that journey so we can share those adventures with you as well.
Yeah, we should go across street to the happy hour one of these days.
Oh, they have an awesome happy hour.
I know, and I haven't gotten to experience it.
Oh,
Well, sounds like we'll see y'all at happy hour.
Yeah.
Here's to empowering each other one story at a time.
Cheers.